people to talk about this topic taboo. They consider it something that, is very difficult to speak about. Fortunately, we are responsible to speak about these topics. We have to in a respectful way. The Prophet ﷺ addressed it in a very beautiful manner. فِي بُضُعِ أَحَدِكُمْ صَدَقَةً. The word used is so respectful. To fulfill the base desires of your spouse, there is a charity in it. The Sahaba radiallahu anhum were obviously surprised that they asked a question, O Messenger sallallahu alayhi wasallam, if we fulfill our base desires, would we get a reward for that? So he asked again in a question to say, do you see, if you were to fulfill it in haram, would you be sinful? They said yes. Well, he said, well, then if you do it in the halal proper way, then you would achieve a reward. So that's one thing we need to understand. When a person gets married, people say, you can't marry for sex. Then sorry, why did you get married? It's one of the main things. It's one of the main parts of the package. In fact, so much so that if a person is unable to satisfy his spouse either way, then they have a right, the other spouse has a right to file for a nullification of it, because you can't fulfill my rights. It's important. I protected myself from haram for what? In order that I get the halal. If I'm not going to get the halal, this is why the Prophet ﷺ says, under certain circumstances, you could be sinful for not facilitating something that is absolutely halal, because where do you expect them to go? A lot of the times we get people saying, you know what, I won't give in to my husband. Imagine if the husband said the same thing about the spouse. I won't give in. Why talk like this? You are married. Part of that marriage in Islam includes the issue of intimacy. So the two things I wanted to mention as an introduction. One is, consider it an act of worship with the correct intention. Go out of your way to fulfill it in order not only to please your spouse either way, but in order to please Allah and to earn a reward. And secondly is that make sure you understand that you have to make an effort, you have to try, you have to cleanse yourself, keep yourself clean, neat, someone that the person you're married to would desire. May Allah make it easy. Well, when it comes to sexual intimacy, obviously the man is getting married. Like I said, one of the main purposes also, he's going to look after his family, there's going to be reproduction for the sake of Allah. If Allah wills, he's going to be providing for her and so on. But regarding this particular department, she needs to make sure that she protects him from going towards haram because of her. So what that means is, some people will go for haram no matter what you've given them and what you've done for them. But if it is a result of your action or your refusal, for example, without any reason, you would then be guilty in the eyes of Allah of not fulfilling this man's rights to the degree that you share a part of his sin. Right? So we won't say that you are guilty of the crime, but you share a part of the sin, because had he fulfilled his halal desire, he would not have needed to even consider haram. So this is why a lot of the times nowadays you have many feminists who talk, and it's open. They say, I don't need to be intimate. What's the issue? Well, in the eyes of Allah, there is an issue. The reason is quite simple, that this whole issue of you getting married, and they say tying the knot, is in order to be able to do certain things in a halal way. If you are going to block that, you are defying the entire purpose of the whole marriage. Why did you get married in the first place? So you would be held liable in the eyes of Allah. Similarly, if it was the opposite way around, women would cry foul to say, listen, this guy's not satisfying me. We've had hundreds of cases come to us, he's not satisfying me, this guy's like this, he's like that, he's gay, or whatever they say. End of the day, we have to tell him, hey, listen, you need to fulfill the rights. Why is it that when it's the other way around, we think it's okay? He needs to fulfill my rights, but I don't need to fulfill his rights. What do you mean? It goes two ways. Yes. Habibi, it goes two ways. And this is such a topic, people don't talk about it. A lot of men, the complaints we get, two major things. One is there is no build-up, and two is he does his thing and he leaves us high and dry, basically. So what is recommended, even from an Islamic perspective, the muqaddimat, that thing which leads up to the intimacy, is equally important. To say good words, to praise, even in the day, you look at your spouse, it's just you and her, and you just say, wow, you're looking good. And the other way too. A lot of women are guilty of not admiring their husbands to their faces. And in this case, you can use, words that are not used outside. You're looking hot, who can I tell that to? A limited usage of that word. So all these words are very, very important, and the build up to it. You don't just come in almost like, if you have basically
premature ejaculation.
Yes, yeah, you call it premature ejaculation, or if you have reached that point of orgasm, make sure that you don't just plug out until she has also been satisfied. It's a very important factor. A lot of women actually complain, and it's so hard for them to talk about it, to say, what's there in this? I mean, what did I get? I've been married for so. A man is wired differently from a woman. The world can say what it wants, but the wiring is different. So the thinking is different, the emotions are different, physically there is a difference, so many things are different. And yes, there is a lot that is common, but in those differences you need to think that what does she need, what does he need, and why does he need it, and look at this and so on. Because you could be thinking you're solving a problem by abstaining, not realizing you're creating a bigger problem. And one thing I want to add is, the relationship between husband and wife should be so beautiful that these things should be understood. Many marriages, in fact, let's be fair, I think most of the marriages, they have a good understanding to say, you know what, the wife is not feeling well, or she's tired, or she has a headache, or there is something, or you can sense that maybe she's sad about something happened. I mean, someone passed away, something. And so there should be a good understanding where there doesn't even need to be a deep discussion about